Hello, and welcome back to Cardano Coin, where we bring you the most recent and intriguing ADA news. We're giving away 1,000 ADA to those who are watching. All you have to do is upvote, subscribe, comment Cardano is king and watch the video to the end to be eligible. The winners will be picked next month and publicized on the community page of the channel. Digital currencies have been very unpredictable, but Bitcoin has seen major peaks. And every time after celebrating a skyrocket, it retreats considerably, and it's taken several years to eclipse the previous high. Well, we obviously can't go back in time. It is fun to look at how Bitcoin has risen over the years and most importantly, seek to know if there is currently a similar trend, meaning what Cardano ADA is about to repeat history. Back in 2019, there was a lot of excitement when 94.504 Bitcoin was sent to an unknown address for a network fee of about $700. It was an interesting sight because large sums like that were not regularly moved in such a fashion in 2019. However, way back in the early days of Bitcoin, people saw large transactions like this frequently without batting an eyelid either, and fees were less than a penny per transaction. At this moment, such excitement seems to only exist in one stream. Back then everyone practically gave Bitcoin away for free, or for way less than what people sell them. Now today, when you take a look at the forum discussions on Reddit, people get excited when they talk about obtaining a single Bitcoin. And there are some 2011 individuals who did the same thing except that they own 1,000s of coins in contrast to just owning one. In those days, things were far more interesting than today, when everyone made a big deal about Bitcoin. Developers were building interesting gadgets to help improve the national crypto economy at that time. However, no one knew what to think about the Bitcoin network and various influential minds were quite skeptical about its growth. According to Vitalik Buterin, who was just a technical editor at Bitcoin magazine, then the more the governments and banks were willing to deal with Bitcoin, the more comfortable a lot of organizations are going to be making the step forward themselves. A lot has changed since the earlier days of Bitcoin, and there are now more cryptocurrencies competing for the throne. And of course, Cardano ADA is one of them. Many people hold on to the belief that it is good to relive history due to old stories, and that is also helpful to see how much the system has changed and improved over the last 13 years. There is always something going on in the crypto world daily, and a quick glimpse down memory lane exposes how much past performance has been better than the recent ones. So far there has been stunted growth, and the past is much better than the present. Bitcoin's rise has been a remarkable one. In only 13 years the cryptocurrency has gone from having no monetary value to surging above $60,000 in the previous year. For investors who got in the early days and have held on to their investment, the returns have been mind-blowing. Bitcoin first crossed the $1 threshold in February of 2021. And his first main surge in popularity occurred in 2013, with prices spiking as high as $1,242. Then after a couple of years, Bitcoin crossed the $50,000 threshold in February 2021, and broke through $60,000 in April, and then it reached an all-time high of over $69,000. Despite a ban from China, increased regulatory scrutiny and wild volatility, Bitcoin has made a float. 13 years ago, no one had the idea that the young cryptocurrency would yield any substantial returns. But here it is now, giving investors a run for their money, despite its appalling limitations. The founder of crypto capital venture, Dan Gorman, Dello, has directed the gaze of investors to the past when he unveiled the possibility of Cardano treading the same path as Bitcoin. In one of his YouTube videos, he revealed the stark similarity between the performance of Cardano ADA in 2022 and the performance of Bitcoin in 2013. Using the weekly charts of ADA, he shared that there is a lot of opportunity in ADA for value investors. Garbatella shared his perspective and pointed out that Cardano is extremely undervalued in the long term. The crypto expert further toured the Cardano ecosystem and unveiled various instances as to why he believes in the ADA Bitcoin resemblance. Amendola also shared a clip of Andreas Antonopoulos' Bitcoin video which dated back to 2013, discussing the subject of Bitcoin neutrality. The conference had hardly any audience, and it was around the time when Bitcoin had a market capitalization of just over $1 billion, and that received the mark the $1 trillion. A few years later, this event is connected to Cardano ADA. At the moment of Garbando's video, Cortana was trading at a market cap of over $13 billion and was predicted to align with Bitcoin's pattern. With a closer look at both cryptocurrencies, it's easy to judge that their technologies is somewhat similar. Every investor wants to go back to the time when investors yielded massive returns and stability. But the current moment is not the right time to have a repeat of history. Macroeconomic factors and the Fed's interference are not helping the matter either. Struggling to mitigate inflation, the Federal Reserve announced a widely anticipated fourth consecutive 0.75% point hike in early November, raising interest rates cancel inflation by making borrowing more expensive and therefore less appealing. The move further increases debt costs for Americans already struggling with the rising prices on everything. The inflation rate has remained stubbornly high, only still lowering from a June peak of 9.1% to 8.2% in September. Fed Chair Jerome Powell has reaffirmed his commitment to lowering inflation with continued rate hikes in the recent months. However, in August, he acknowledged that increasing the cost of borrowing will bring some pain to households and businesses. Increasing interest rates discourages economic growth, which can trigger a recession in which many people are already battling with rising costs to lose their jobs. Although more increases may cause some pain, the Fed's policy is meant to lower prices, but they are likely to reconsider as reports of his negative results and effects on the populace keep plaguing the system. Fed President Patrick Harker said in the upcoming months, in light of the cumulative tightening we have achieved, I expect we will slow the pace of our rate hikes as we approach a sufficiently restrictive stance. But I want to be clear, a rate hike of 50 basis points will still be significant. Nevertheless, amid this appalling situation, Cardano ADA is striving to maintain his reputation. It is one of those projects that has far more potential than merely being a profitable investment. Due to his foundation and peer-reviewed academic research, the network has grown into a strong community. However, since mid-September, ADA has exhibited weak price sensitivity with its funding rates on Binance, and the gradual increase in these rates accompanied a price decline. Buyers could factor in Bitcoin's movements and its effects on the wider market and make a profitable move. Anyways, Cardano has long been a favorite in long-term crypto investors. Despite the coin's struggle the past few months, several reports revealed that faith in the project remains strong among investors as well. A pair of charts from Asari revealed that the number of transactions volume and on-chain activity has continued to increase, this emphasizing that the protocol is being used more than ever. Current ADA holders have also embraced the idea of accumulating the token in the face of falling prices. Last month, holders of 100 to 1,000 tokens now account for 1.15% of the circulating supply, which is up from 0.92%. While there was a 0.59% increase in holders between 1,000 coins all the way up to 4.95%. Also, Cardano NFTs have seen a spike in volume, with investors heading to the chain from his closest rival Solana. This sudden move came in after the leading Solana marketplace Magic Eden instructed that it would make royalties optional, sparking concerns that new connections will be discouraged from launching on the blockchain. Plus, the Vessel hard fork was completed successfully 2 months ago, and even though it didn't lead to a surge in price, it will certainly make Cardano more compelling to decentralized developers. Moving forward, some other upgrades are on the way, with Muesli Swap successfully integrating Plutus and Sunday Swap now using Hydra, and as a result of its carbon net zero configuration, it has already attracted huge interest from institutional and venture capital investors. It has long promised massive returns, but the next bull run, whenever it will be, could see exponential growth. But sometimes it looks like the good side of Cardano is just not enough to cover up his weakness. Of course, the ADA coin has continued to fall short-term investor expectations. As one of the top 5 cryptocurrencies by market cap, Cardano is currently at a real risk of falling out of the top 10. That quick rescue mission is needed, right? It's just amazing how Bitcoin back in its early days got investors so enthralled. Even with its dumps, it still garnered attention. Back then it was okay to buy the dip in Bitcoin. But right now, will investors do the same for Cardano ADA? But of course, what are your thoughts on this? I'm in the comments section below. We'll see you in the next video, but before then, check our other videos to find out how Cardano is living up to the dream of being the Ethereum killer. And as always, make sure you click on the subscribe notification buttons.